Season 11. People love Jen this year.
I know. Who knew?
How are you receiving all the love?
I love it. It's great. I feel like this season people are really going to get to see a lot more of my personality. Whereas before people just didn't get it.
I'm loving seeing every side of you. Let's unpack everything. The season started with a bang. Are we finally putting the Jackie Teresa saga behind us starting this week?
I mean, unfortunately, it continues at the pool party. Teresa gave her version of an olive branch. We all saw what Jackie did with that olive branch. So now Teresa's like, oh, okay, you know what? Now f you. Trademark Teresa, that's how she is. She's a sorry, not sorry type of thing, which I totally get, by the way.
In talking to Jackie, it seems like she thinks that you will do anything to remain friends with Teresa, that you will kiss Teresa's butt no matter what. What is your response to that claim?
It's interesting. When Margaret defends Teresa, it's, oh, Margaret, I think you're smarter than that. Oh, you're giving her a pass. But when I defend someone who is actually my friend, that's kissing her ass. No, sweetheart, that's called friendship. So get the memo if you haven't already gotten it. I told Teresa I thought what she did was wrong. However, I'm not going to sit here and start a fight with my real friend over someone who's, somewhat of a friend. I mean, people were always saying like, who talks about the host of a party when you're at that party, right? Do you know how many weddings I've been to where the bride was marrying a dog and we were all sitting there at the table like, I can't believe she's actually marrying him. So I'm just like confused about why everybody's so shocked. I think it's actually nicer that she didn't tell Jackie to her face at her party. That would have been rude. Teresa took the nice way out and did it like everybody else behind their backs.
I mean, I think in an ideal situation, she would have pulled Jackie aside one-on-one at not a party and told her and not talked to her.
Of course. And again, I told her that.
To pivot to the drama that bled over from last season, you and Melissa, we kind of saw you making ends with her, getting to a better place. Where are things now?
I think Melissa and I are in a good place. I mean, at the end of the day, she doesn't bother me. I don't know if she's bothered by me, but in my defense, I just kill him with kindness. Let's kiki it up and move on. So I'm hoping that she feels the same.
Were you surprised that she did not shoot the messenger when you brought Michelle, the realtor's story to her?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
When we were at Jackie's party, Michelle told me that her husband and your husband were supposed to split the growing with Gorga thing, and your husband never paid him. She said the amount was like tens of thousands of dollars.
Tens of thousands? What the are you talking about?
I mean, I was on pins and needles because it's like, we just went through this whole fiasco with somebody saying a rumor and it didn't go so well. So I was just like, let me try to take a different approach and hopefully her reaction will be different, which it was. So I was grateful for that.
Now, this Michelle woman, I mean, the way it's coming across on the show is that she stepped in and wanted to mess stuff up. Do you feel like she maybe used you a little here?
No, not at all. She is not a starter. And let me tell you, even though Michelle and I had not met up until that point, we had communicated via text and through Instagram. So I feel like we already had some kind of connection and maybe she felt that she could trust me. I think Michelle is a straight up person.
Okay.
I think she came to say her truth. And the way that it was spun, maybe it backfired, but she still stands by her word. And you know what? It's not my fight anyway. So
right. The learning from Evan's party was if you hear something or have an issue with somebody, just maybe tell them and not somebody else.
100%.
Well, we know that drama with Michelle and her husband trickles into the pool party. We're going to see some movement on that in the next episode. But this pool party, how much of the pool party do you actually remember, Jennifer?
Jennifer's acting like she's gonna be mom. She's a little too drunk.
Don't fall.
What happened?
Oh my God.
You gotta get your wife. Where's Bill?
Bill? Yeah, I'm serious. I'm worried.
I remember everything until getting into the pool for tequila pong. And the only thing after that I remember is what I thought of as at the time was an out-of-body experience. But I know now that they were just carrying me and I was just witnessing the sky move. I know now that I was being carried to the car, but at the time I just thought I was having an out-of-body experience.
You thought you were floating, okay. Was part of the out-of-body experience you singing Countess Luann?
Money can't buy you class. Say what? Huh? Money can't buy you class. For sure. Sure?
And I didn't even remember that I had done that. Somebody had recorded that and sent that to me after. And I was like, oh my God, I hope this makes it into the show.
You know, this has been teased since the trailer came out, this pool party moment, this drunken moment. It's implied in the trailer that maybe you've turned to alcohol to numb the pain you're feeling.
Why is she drinking so much? Every time I see her, she is drinking something, inhaling something. She numbs herself to a lot of her issues.
Do you think that's true at all?
I think it's 100% not true. I am only a social drinker. And because I don't drink that often, I don't know my tolerance. And then when Teresa wanted everybody to play tequila pong, I didn't want to be like all negative Nancy. I wanted to be like a team player. So I was like, I'll play. And then of course it got the best of me. And what you see is what I see for the first time on the show.
She's gonna be bombed. Oh my God.
What is your reaction to seeing yourself in that state? I mean, you're like pouring water on yourself.
I thought it was hysterical. Thought it was hysterical. I threw up that night like 4 times. And Margaret told me how she was driving past me and she's like, oh my God, I felt so bad. You were throwing up on the side of the car. And my first instinct was, did you get it on camera? And she's like, no, I thought about it, but I didn't want to do it to you. And I was like, nah, bitch, that is TV gold, honey. You get it on camera and let's show everybody. And then next time you will see, I do not get that drunk at all for the rest of the season. Teaser! And if you really want to ask me if I have any regrets about the pool party, it's only that I didn't get a spray tan before. I would have appreciated some tan legs and butt crack looks, but you know, live and learn.
You really don't care that this is airing on TV, because this was just, so do you think the conversation that's in that trailer where they say she's numbing herself to deal with the pain, that's like a projection that these women were putting onto you?
Maybe. I don't know where they're coming from. I mean, numbing what pain? Yes, I'm stressed out. I was dealing with the drama of my parents. I'm still dealing with the drama of my parents. But if I want to let loose and have a good time, last I checked, I was 21 and over. Thanks.
You bring up the situation with your parents.
My mom and my dad have been bickering a lot lately.
I understand, my mother. You don't fight all the time.
So I made an executive decision to have my dad live with me.
Where do things stand today? What can you tell me about the journey we're going to watch in the second half of the season?
My mom has always been with me. She's always been my ride or die since day one. It's always been me and my mom. It's just this small chapter now that we are evolving to, that my dad happens to be more involved, and that's only because the jewelry store went out of business. Our family jewelry store went out of business, causing my father not to have a job to go to every day. It's very sad for him. He's dealing with his own trauma and feelings of loss. It's just like an influx of a change that they were forced to deal with, and you know what? It pissed them off. My mother and my father were both like angry, depressed, and I was trying to find a way to referee them both. But in my mother's eyes, the more that I defended my father, in her eyes, the more I was going against her.
Daddy, he turned my kids against me. The things he said to me, it's hurt.
And I tried to explain to her that although he's your husband and you have one feeling towards him, I wanted my mother to understand that he's also my father. And she has to understand the love and respect I have for my father.
Is your dad still living with you? Are they still living separately?
My dad is still living with me. My mother and I, we got into a fight a couple months ago and we haven't spoken since. My mom just can't accept the fact that I'm trying to make everybody happy here. And she doesn't care if I make her happy. She just wants to make sure I don't make my father happy. And for me, I don't want to choose sides. My father never makes me choose a side. So I'm just caught in the middle. And right now my mother and I are not speaking.
Wow, that's very sad to hear. Why is divorce not an option for them?
They don't believe in divorce. They believe that this is what God planned for me and I must accept it. So it's unfortunate because I would love for both of them to be happy. Yeah, but my mother tells me if I divorced your dad when I wanted to, none of you would have ever gotten married to somebody from our community. because it's just a matter of also, like, in her eyes, the perception of people. Middle Eastern people care so much about what their culture thinks of them. Like, they almost revolve their lives around it. And it's like, you know what, ultimately these people don't give a shit about you anyway. So what do you care?
It sounds like the journey is kind of just beginning then. There's a lot of conversations left to have whenever she's willing to have them.
My mother has started therapy, and we are starting family therapy together. I think that's going to be a great way for us to integrate back into each other's lives. That's probably something I won't showcase on the show because it's my mother's journey, and I just want to find a way to be able to have a relationship with my mother without my relationship with my father affecting it.
Yeah, probably bringing in a third party will help.
That's what I mean. Somebody like unbiased that can be a mediator so that both of us can say our side of the story. We all have a role to play, but it starts off with self-reflection, and I'm hoping that the therapy can help us get there.
Yeah. All right. Well, back to what we are going to see on the show. We know this shore trip is coming up.
Yes.
From my understanding, there's like a Joe, Margaret, Jackie situation, and then the Joe, Melissa, Teresa situation. Which moment is going to shock the audience more?
Joe Gorgas, sometimes I think he deserves to be more of a housewife than Melissa. Somebody cut him a check, right? Because he is like, I was like, what's going on here? When did he get mad? So that was definitely something embedded in my head. And Melissa throwing the cheese when it's like, didn't we vow not to throw shit anymore? Like, hello, wasn't it you that said, let's promise to not throw anything anymore? And then all of a sudden you see some Swiss in your hair. So it was definitely quite an epic night.
My wife is 100% right.
I think it speaks volumes that this cast has been this cast for 3 seasons now.
Yeah.
No changes. And what do you say to people who are speculating that a big shakeup will come after this season?
I don't think any of us are leaving. I personally love this cast. I don't care for anyone to leave. But if you want to add and shake things up, bring on a bitch.